Kita dulu. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kata.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Everyone,
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
meet again in Sardos of English Education Program UIN Raden Intan Lampung, and it is the 6th series. The podcast class topic today is how to plan and organize your research report. There are two extraordinary speakers today. They are from our beloved lecturers, Bu Melinda Rosa. How are you, Bu Melinda? And the second speaker is Mr. Satria Adi Pradana. Mr. Satria Adi Pradana, okay, are you okay? Okay, to shorten the time, I give the time to the first speaker, will be delivered by Mr. Satria. Mr. Satria, time's yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Septa. Halo, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, now I'll try to share the screen. Okay. So in the Sardos, the 6th series, okay, I'm going to give a general insight on how you are going to plan or organize a research report. And today I'm just the opener. The main speaker is Miss Melinda, actually, but I'm trying my best to make it beautiful. Okay. And I hope that this could be could be a milestone for you to start engaging a research in our situation right now. Okay, so the first one is now we are encounter the pandemic, yeah, which is COVID-19, and also we have to also do the research as the requirement, yeah, to be an undergraduate students to graduate from PBI, especially, and that's why being a student is not really that good, yeah. And why do research? Okay, because it is the requirement for you to be an undergraduate graduates, and this is a necessary things to be done. Okay, the first one is the discovery, meaning that you have to discover new things, which is what we call the uniqueness of the things that your research will provide. I mean, the state of the art and so on and so forth, whether it has been found or any other significance. I mean, research or to strengthen the arguments inside, and also the investigative skill. I mean, you're going to see the phenomenon or current practice that is being held by the practitioner in the field, and also the phenomenon happens around the researcher, and also the inquiry built based technique and how you write the findings. Okay, then the critical thinking, which is really needed to do the research. So how this critical thinking will affect the inquiry, the writings of your research. Okay, it is needed to make, what is it, to make a new insight for the better findings, which do not rerun or what is it, redo again. So critical thinking is needed to solve the problem. So logic and arguments. Yeah. So research need a lot of argument. Okay, so you will argue more, and also the arguments will be won by having a correct statement for some theories from the experts, and also the ground logic, which will defend your argument. This is really needed for those who are going to do the research. And this is examples of the topic of the research, the initial problems. Okay, this is about the ICC, the assessment of ICC. Okay, so this problem will be on the response to the limitation of the CLT, communicative language teaching, which is the intercultural communication competence that we're going to assess. And also the problem is about the inclusion of intercultural communication competence, or in EFL, yeah, foreign language education. So what is the purpose of that statement? That the study will investigate the beliefs and experiences of Chinese University English as a foreign language, EFL, yeah, teachers, and concerning the assessment of the ICC in EFL education there. Okay, so then you're going to make the research question. Okay, so research questions is basically based on what you're going to find. Okay, so this is about the beliefs and experiences. So there are arrows there which represent the purpose statement, which represent the research questions. Okay, and the questions will be, how do Chinese University EFL teachers view the assessment of ICC in EFL education? So the view, the beliefs, and also the second question is, to what extent are the assessment practices intercultural oriented based on the experience, I mean practitioners. So this is the source from Xiaolugu, yeah, the articles. And then after you're making the ideas of the research question, yeah, based on the topic, yeah, topic yeah, topic of the research. Okay, it was just like the what do you call it, the consideration of some issues. Okay, it will comes up into the research questions, and then we're going to make the research schedule. The research schedules are the topic that we have already discussed. What kind of topic? It is based on your expertise. Okay, on what skill do you really master? I mean, you can do that better than the other skills, for example. And then you're going to decide, this is my topic, and also based on some readings, yeah, on some articles, yeah, high quality articles maybe, if you're going to find the new insight. Okay, and then after topic, try to draft, I mean, make some scribbling, yeah, to do the words, okay, which consist of, yeah, some reading articles, like I've said before. And also after reading articles, you just take some quotes, I mean the expert quotations. Then you are going to organizing and outlining, yeah, the things to wrap up like when or where you're going to put the quotations and also the theory, okay, and then the formatting is based on the university guidelines, okay. So you're going to follow the guidelines, the format, and the reference, the list of reference. You need to list some highly noted reference. I mean, like the you can see from the writers, I mean, researchers index. Yeah, I mean the most quoted articles, and the last is I mean the last section is revising and proofreading and plagiarism check. Okay, so this is a schedule of you if you want to do the research from the beginning. And then focus and discover. So after you're deciding that this is actually the path of your research, okay, you're going to focus and discover some things. That is, yeah, first one is free writings. So for those who do not like writing, so you just try to make a free writings, okay, and it will be assessed. And some listing keywords, for example, like those plagiarism checkers will see the common words, and you can find the listing keywords based on the articles that you have read, you know, from the high quality articles. You can sorting the listing keywords, and then you'll try to make use of that on your writing. Okay. For first, making some rough outline, meaning that this is just the what is it? The rough outlines, meaning for example, chapter 1, chapter 2, what will it be in chapter 2, what will it be in chapter 1 and chapter 3. Okay, so the outline must be based on the guidelines. Okay, so just make rough outline on the frame of theories. And clustering, meaning that you're going to focus on some what is it, homogeneous things that will be discussed. Do not jump into sections that it is not really useful. So make it into clusters, and making some narrowing comparison. I mean, we did other theories that are relevant studies that has been what is it, published or found. Okay, and asking yourself a question whether this statement is good or not, on how it will be possibly what is it, answer the question of your research. Okay, and then we're going to make a drafting a short proposal, okay, which should have the specific topic, the topic of your research. Okay, just make sure that it is on point. Okay, and then the purpose of the proposal in the paper, that explain, analyze, and argue. You can explain, you can give the information and analyze it, and also you can argue about it. It is actually the essential things for making a short proposal. And then, who will read your research? I mean, for the academician, practitioners, or any scientists, for example. So you need to provide a relevant diction on some points, and also the few what are you going to voice out? I mean, what are you going to give to the audience, I mean, to the readers? What is the implicit message, for example, like that, for you, for the audience, from you? And then this is the preliminary thesis statement, meaning that you have to have the opening hypothesis. Hypothesis means the assumption needs to be proved by some steps and procedures. Okay, so that's how you draft a short proposals, and how you present your findings or results. It's based on this classifications. Okay, the first one is theme-based data presentations. Okay, it is based on the topic, on the theme. Okay, so you need to answer the questions based on the questions on the topic, you know, based on the data presentations, and also the question from the hypothesis before, and the theory or concept base. If you have the issue on that, then you're going to make an activity. If it is really what is it, the questions on tasks and cycle base, the action classroom, yeah, so you need to provide those data, okay, and also data collection and data analysis based on the measure based data presentations. So this is how you present your result or findings, okay. And then this is how you try to discuss your findings. Okay, this is chapter 4. Okay, you're going to discuss the findings, okay, based on the result, the synthesis on the findings itself, the alignment, I mean the how you position the what is it, the structure of your findings, okay, and how you try to elaborate the theoretical, conceptual, and empirical data, yeah, based on the findings, okay. So this is really important on discussing your findings. And also, what are the contributions? What are the contributions? So it is effective, there is contribution, or there is no contributions. Okay, there is no contribution is actually contribution, yeah, because there is no contributions. Okay. Next is implications. You know, the implication is really important also, yeah, to prove that this could be done. Okay. Weaknesses and shortcomings for the next researcher to conduct the same thing with different proportion, with different treatment. I don't know. Okay, so the last is the critical evaluations based on the values and impacts. So the discussion is about the values and impacts, meaning that it will be a significant values and significant impact on for those this proposal. I mean these findings. Okay. The possible research report in this pandemic that I propose is actually based on what we have in the previous CERDOS. Okay, we have the previous CERDOS from the quantitative, from the statistical things, quantitative research. Also, this happens in the listening podcast. Listening podcasts made some narrative inquiry things pop up there, and also in the textbook analysis. Yeah, that's the same actually. The first ones I proposed the library research, case study, analysis, pre-experimental research, and correlations, which I suppose the researcher can do and can make this happen. And if you are going to make another things happen on, for example, a quasi-experimental, which is really popular, You can have those in the green zone, so don't take it in Bandar Lampung, because Bandar Lampung is going to be PSBB soon because of COVID-19. The pandemic is really hurting us a lot. There are some washback side effect from this pandemic. So that's why we try to make the the very proportional research as an option. Okay, so this is for you. If you are going to do the research, please focus. Okay, focus and do not procrastinate. Most of my students, when doing the undergraduate thesis, they're procrastinating things, like doing something, not focusing things. Remember the time limitation also, and the time management, how you try to do this and do that, yeah. And the last is the priority, the top-notch priority, which one is going to do the priority then. So please remind that he did. Okay, and also time proportions. Okay, last but not least, if you're going to do the research, yeah, story be better, yeah. So that's how you're trying to do the research, yeah. Don't make such an excuse. Just be better. Thank you very much. That's all I can explain. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll give it back to Ms. Septa.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Mr. Satria. Nice and informative explanation from you. Okay, I almost forget to introduce himself. He's a journal executive in our major, so he is expert in this field. And further, the explanation will be delivered by Bunda Melinda. She is expert in organized research report. Okay, Miss Bunda, are you ready?
Yeah.
Shorten the time. Time's yours.
Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
Okay, how are you everybody? Seems that we are not in a good condition because of the situation right now, so we can meet through this Zoom. Okay, we are going to talk about the sorry, I try to share my screen first. Okay, actually we are going to talk about how to organize our research report, and Pak Satria have told us many things about what you are going to do before doing the research and some points, and and he has shown us some pictures from his idols to make it interesting. This is what we call as a mood maker. Okay, for me, my part is about the introduction. So let's start. Before we are talking about what is research report actually. Yeah, as we know, the researcher consists of, in general, researcher is someone who is doing the research. So how to make a report from her research? Yeah, researcher usually make a paper or an article or a book about which become the research report. But the students, yeah, as we know, for undergraduate thesis, we call it skripsi in Indonesia, or magister thesis, or doctoral thesis, or dissertation, and also an article. Those are some kinds of research reports. that we know in general. And then in general also, the content of research report or research paper consists of these 5 points. First, introduction, then literature review, methodology, analysis and findings, and conclusion. I do not make it into chapter because there will be some differences of the content based on the kind or the types of research. So what we are going to talk is in general. So every places, maybe every university, or will have several or the variation of the content for the research report. But the focus will be like this. At least will be included those 5 points: introduction, literature review, methodology, analysis and findings, and conclusion. And then for the term, it is also different from any places, from from universities or from specific journal, research journal. Some, for example, like literature review, some of them call it the review of related literature or the review of the theory or whatever. So my explanation here is just my style. So if you have learned another style from your lecture or from other places, it's okay. So there is no specific, we cannot find any specific or istilah baku for all of them because of this some variation. Okay, now, okay. Now, this is my part after listening to Pak Satria before. This is about the introduction. So the introduction is the very first in the research report. However, making introduction is not the very first step. It can be the latest steps in writing the research report. Why? Because introduction concludes all the things that you have done and introduce as a whole of your research. Even though the result will not be included here, but how to make the introduction is also based on your result if it is an article. But if it is a proposal, at least all of the things that you are going to do have been concluded before. And here, as the theory, what is the purpose and the function? Here, it serves the purpose of leading the reader from a general subject area to a particular field of the research. Meaning that in an introduction, you are going to lead the reader what you are going to do, what kind of topic or specific point that you are going to research. And then, yeah, it should be well written in order to make a good impression for the reader. Yeah, good introduction will attract the reader to read all of your article or your research report. Yeah, when to make? As I said before, usually introduction is often useful to finish very late in writing process because it should match the overall structure of the research paper. Okay, now introduction is not something that you just write it down by your own thinking, or such as making narrative or descriptive. The source for introduction, first, your research focus itself, the theme. For example, you are going to talk about writing. Yeah, research focus will be about writing. Also, in introduction, you need the theories. You cannot write the introduction without knowing the theories as a whole. So actually, basically, we can say that you have to finish your theory, your second chapter first before completing your introduction part, and then methodology. This will be needed for the research question because it will depend on your type of the research. So introduction is not just what I call. That's why for me, for the students who have me as the advisor, I really ask them to finish their theory first before making an introduction. Sorry. Okay, and then let's see the content of introduction itself. I have read many theories, many things that I want to find a specific model for introduction, but I didn't find any that match for all of the things because there are the variation of the introduction model. It will be based on the research type, based on type of each journal. Usually in journal, you will have specific rule based on their journal. So as again, I said that this is what I have concluded for everything that I have read. So this is, you can say that this is my model. Even later you will find your advisor or your research will have the different model from this. Is okay, but at least the introduction includes this 6 points. First is about the background of the study of or the research. Yeah, there is a term research or study. So you can use both, but be consistent. If you use the term research, use the research. If you want to use study, use the study. It's okay. Background of the research is this is the first point. And then identification of the problem. And then limitation of the problem. This will be optional if your identification of the problem is already specific. You may limit this problem again or not. And after that, you formulate the problem into the research question. After formulating the problem, you state the purpose of your research. And the last one, significance of the research. I will use the term significance here because in my opinion, in my understanding, significance is more significance to be used rather than the use of the research. Because the word use is what they call something to be used, not something to get the what they call the advantages like that. And now let's start. This is the very, very hard point in the introduction. This is also my, what I call, my point to explain to my students as usual. At least in the background of the problem, you have 3 main parts. Part, not paragraph. First, sorry, I make a mistake. Ideality, I mean that something that the ideal one of your research. And then after talking about the ideal one, you come to the reality. What happened, phenomenon, problems. And then after comparing the ideal one and the reality, you will have the position. Okay, for the rest of the explanation, let's take the example of the research, the student's ability in writing paragraph. So the variable is paragraph, writing paragraph, right? Okay. Now, this is the first part, the ideal one. So, also in this part, you have to consider, you have to make in a good arrangement, starting for the general one, topic. You have to talk about the topic from general into specific. However, please do not make this part will depend on your writing, your reading, your knowledge. Let's do not talk about everything in too general, like our students usually make. Whatever the title is, the introduction will be started from language is an international, English is an international language, or what else? English is very important, or language is a tool of communication. Do not start with that kind of stuff. People will know, has known already about that one. It's too general. So come directly to the topic that you are going to research. In this case, writing. So do not talk around the bush to everything you will talk about your general. Like you are going to talk about the Kota Metro. Just going directly to about the metro, about everything about metro city. Do not start from Indonesia has several provinces, and then you are going to talk one is Lampung, and then Lampung has several cities and etc. So when will you come to the specific? That's the illustration. So in this case, we are going to the specific one. Try to make about writing. So you have to write everything about writing. In this case, writing about the topic, you have to mention the simple theory about what writing here is. The theory is, the theory here is not the complex theory as you are going to write in second chapter. You have to find the simple theory in order to make the reader understand about what writing is. It is okay if you paraphrase the theory, not just making the the direct quotation. No, it's okay. While you are talking about writing is, the function of the theory here is not to talk about what the writing in very specific. The theory in the background is just to guide the reader who are not in this field to understand what you are going to write. So just find the simplest theory about writing. Do not make the analysis of the theory here. Just explain writing is this. So if the reader who are not going from coming from the language background will understand what writing is and which writing that you are talking about. And then after talking about the writing, explore the general topic into specific one based on the theory. Again, you need the theory to make the introduction. You have the theory about writing. What is writing? What kind of writing? And then based on the content, the writing can be writing sentences, writing paragraph. Since your title is about writing paragraph, so you have to find the theory about the sentence. The theory here is not about what sentence is, what paragraph is. No, it's just exploring what kind of writing. So you will talk about some writing can be about, we can teach writing into writing sentences or writing paragraph, writing an essay or an article, etc. So you mention the kinds of writing here. But how can you find the point is based on the theory. So, and then after that, explain about other points related to writing ability, because your title is the student's ability. And in this case, the theory is based on the language testing, for example, or about everything that you have learned about writing components. In writing, we have some ability, we have to have some ability in order to make writing, for example. You have to understand, you have to have many vocabularies, you have to understand the grammar, the grammatical, you have to know, you have to get some ideas, for example. And then explain again, yeah? Okay, sorry, I don't know. And, and then after that, explain about specific in paragraph, since your topic is about paragraph. What what consists in paragraph, in a paragraph, I mean. So talk about, in writing a paragraph, we have to know about topic sentence, about controlling idea, and etc. This is the explaining in general. So those are from the theory, but not talking about the theory. And then, since it is about the student's writing ability, it is implicitly related to the teaching, right? So you have also mentioned the other related part. Topic includes in the title. And for example, you have in teaching writing, for example, we need a media or strategy or whatever. You talk it here, you explain it here. And then, because you are going to do the research in a specific level, for example, in the first class of junior high school, find the theory from the syllabus, what kind of materials and what kind of level that you are going to talk about the paragraph, and also you mention in this one. So in this ideal, you have to arrange from the general into the specific. But still, here you have to read more and more. The ideal one, as Pak Muhasin said, that Dasein, ya istilahnya dia. Okay, next. After you compose an audio part, maybe it's about 2 or 3 pages, right? Okay, and now come to the reality. After talking about what is the idea, what is writing, what writing consists of, what about the material, and etc., as you talked before, and then come to the reality. This part explains about the phenomenon or problems. Why I said from phenomenon? Because not all of the research based on the problems. Usually qualitative do not come from the problem, but it comes from phenomenon. For example, in linguistic, probably there are some problems, but the problems do not, we do not focus more on problems, but what is the reality. For example, you are going to study about the children's language. You are going to talk about why the phenomenon, why the children around 2 or 3 years have mix the words or say the words in the opposite, something like that. That here we will explain the phenomenon, not the problem. And then first, phenomenon or problem based on the theory. You refer back to the first the A point from the theory first. Before we talk about writing, what is writing consisting of? For example, vocabulary, grammar, idea, topic, sentence. Here, you explain that actually in the classroom, students have some problems related to writing a paragraph. For example, student lacks of vocabulary. It makes them stuck with uh, explaining the idea, for example. Another problem is about the grammar. Usually grammar like this is, and you explain about those problems. And then also problems related to the teaching, such as lack of media, monotonous strategy, lack of motivation, etc. So this first part of the reality is about the phenomenon, about the um, about the problems based on the theory, theoretically, not based on the real. And then after you are talking about those problems and phenomenon based on the theory, and then comes the second one. This is the optional because not all of the research have the preliminary research. So the second point is the reality or real problems based on preliminary research. Penelitian pendahuluan, but some of the research do not have this kind of stuff. For example, if you are talking about linguistic, what is about the preliminary research? There will be no preliminary research. So that's why I call it optional. The phenomenon or the problems will be enough from the first point only. You have to explore based on the theory. So the phenomenon and the problems come from that point. That's why you have to read more and more. I asked the student to do like that, but some of them really angry to me because I asked them to read more and more. This is why you have to read everything about your topic. Okay, and then the last point of the reality part is the statement about the reason why you are interested in conducting the research. Because of that problem or because of those phenomenon, so I am interested, the researcher is interested in doing the research about the writing, especially writing paragraphs. So this point ended with this kind of sentence. You end the reality part by producing a sentence related to the focus of your research. Okay, the last part of the introduction is the researcher's position. So what is it? After you are talking about the ideal one based on the theory, and then talking about the reality, the problem and the phenomenon, and now it's come to have your position. Your position also includes from the relevant studies, similarities and difference, and title statement. So first, after the end of your, the B point just now is your research focus. So I am the researcher is interested in studying about the writing and paragraph. This is the last sentence of the latest point. And now you can start your sentence in this point by saying something like this. The research about the writing and paragraph actually had been done by many researchers. So here you tell about many relevant studies here. In my style, relevant studies here is not something that's complex that you have to write here. These points can be only included in one paragraph. The point of relevant study that you are talking in this part is only about the researcher, the title, and then maybe the kind of the research only. So for example, the research about paragraph have been done by Melinda. She is with the title this. She is talking about this and this. And the second is from Isti. The title is this. And don't forget to include the years. So only like that. The function of relevant studies here is only to find the focus of the research, the variable, not about the result. So make it simple. So after several relevant studies you have made here, find the similarities and differences of your research and their research. That's what we call novelty, the differences. Yeah. Those research that has talked about this one. I'm sorry, the research that have been conducted by the researchers before, most of them talk about this, and this. You find the similarities with yours, and then the differences is like this. And then after that, you end this point by your title statement. Because of that, I will conduct the research and title this. So talk about your title statement. Okay, that is about the background of the problem. This is the very what do you call very complex things to do. And then the second part of introduction is about the identification of the problem. I found so many terms in this part. Some of them said that focus of the research directly, not identification. And other said that the scope of the research. So in here, we will talk about this term, identification of the problem. Here, actually, identification of the problem. After we explain in the background about what writing is, and then what consists of in the writing and this problem and phenomenon, you try to explain more about the problems you have mentioned in the background. It can be from your preliminary research or from the theoretical problem just now. In this case, you are talking about the paragraph, and then you will talk more deeply about the problem in paragraph. Maybe about how the student getting difficulties in composing their ideas or such, etc. If you have preliminary research before, this is the place to explain more about, to conclude about the problems you found in your preliminary research. But in this case, try not to make a kind of judgment. I mean, most of the students make the sentence like this: the student's ability in writing is very bad. Students have low, like etc. This kind of judgment. You can make this kind of judgment if you have the research before. But if you just interview or just observe, do not produce this kind of judgment. Probably you conclude like this: students have difficulties in finding the idea, or the grammar, the student is still lack in grammatical sentence or whatever. So please be smooth. The dangerous one is the teacher is not good in teaching or something like that. Is the very dangerous sentences. The teacher has monotony. Do not what they call, do not judge something. Probably they have the problem is not because of the teacher, but the student itself or the media or whatever. So please try not to make what they call the statement like that. Please just, this is identification, not the judgment. So identify what kind of problems. Here, more specific than in the what do you call, background of the problem. Okay. After you limit the problem, after you identify the problem, you limit the problem. Here, I said that the limitation of the problem is optional if your identification of the problem has been specific enough. But in this case, for example, we get, our title just now is about the paragraph, right? And then in order not to be too general, you limit the problem here. For example, the writing paragraph in this case is about the maybe descriptive paragraph or whatever. You can find the limitation based on your syllabus that you are that are going to talk. That you are going to, I mean the syllabus of the level you are going to do to research. For example, you are going to study at the second class of the junior high school, find the syllabus and you can make the limitation of the problem based on this. Okay, and then after those steps, now it's time to formulate your problem. Now, formulating the problem, there are two kinds of formulation of the problem. But the very, very general one is making into the statement, the question, research question. But some formulation of problem are in the statement. Usually in article, you will find formulation of the problem in the statement, not in research question. Because in articles, sometimes they combine the formulation of the problem and the focus of the research or the use or the significance of the research. So it's okay. Which one do you want? But in our department, we will use research question because it is easier for you to make. Research question will be based on your research type. So there is no specific formulation, but a little bit, what do you call, formulation of the problem for the quantitative research, such as correlation, what do you call, experimental. Yeah, this kind of research have a specific formulation because it will have a hypothesis for this. So you have to make this the research question into the specific types. But for the qualitative, formulation of the problem will be from your point of the focus, what you are going to find. For the research question in the qualitative research, you can make several, not only one, several. It is better for you to make a specific one, not to combine the focus. For example, you are going to study about the student ability in writing a paragraph, and then you make several research questions about this. How is the student ability in finding the topic, in making the topic sentence? How is the student ability in making the controlling idea? How is the student ability in what after controlling details? And the last, how is the student's ability in making the conclusion? It seems that's too much, but it is better for you to do like this because it will help you to make the data analysis later. So your data analysis can be arranged based on your formulation of the problem. Okay, it's up to you, but the focus is how to make it clear. After making the formulation of the problem and then purpose of the research, the purpose of the research will be the same with the formulation of the problem. If you have 5 formulation of the problem, the purposes will be also 5 points. If your first research research question, how is the student's ability in making this topic sentence, your first purpose of the research will be to explain or to describe the student's ability in making the topic sentence, etc. So this, for quantitative research, a research question, purpose of the research, and hypothesis should be in the same, they are the same sentence, but only in the research question, it will be in the question, but the rest will be in the sentence. Okay, when the lecturer are going to test to the examiner of the Munakasa, what should we find first? Yeah, the consistency of research question, purpose of the research, and the hypothesis later. So it will be also the same with the conclusion. So if they are they are consistent, they have a good research report. And the last one is about the significance of the research. It provides the details to the reader on how the research will contribute, such as what the research will contribute and who will benefit from it. It also includes an explanation of the work's importance as well as its potential benefits. So significance of the research, for example, if you are talking about writing just now, first, the significance will be on the teaching writing, and then maybe for the teacher, and then for the students, and for you, the researcher himself. Okay, so many explanation from me about the introduction, but remember that this is only one model, a model that I conclude from my reading. So there is no specific model for those, but you have to take into account for some specific point that should be included in the introduction. Okay, I think it is enough from me. Okay, I will give it back to the moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bunda Melda, from your nice explanations. It's focused on how to write introductions in research report well. Okay, I hope it can the audience to answer, to give the questions based on the explanation from those speakers. Okay, we open from now. Okay, we got the first questioner from Mr. Said. Gini buat kedua narasumber, maaf saya menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Materinya sangat menarik sekali, konsepnya juga dijelaskan dengan runtut, tetapi saya masih membayangkan bagaimana aspek-aspek atau poin-poin tersebut jika sudah dalam bentuk research report. Mohon diberikan contoh research report yang baik dan dijelaskan kenapa research report tersebut dikatakan baik sehingga saya punya konsep research report yang well planned. And well organized ketika akan membuat research report? Terima kasih. Itu pertanyaan dari Mr. Said. Untuk sementara punya satu pertanyaan, Bang Satria, Bunda, siapa yang mau menanggapi atau menjawab duluan? Monggo.
Oke.
Okay. Mr. Okay, the first respond.
Kedengaran ya?
Kedengaran?
Okay. So the question is about how to make the example. Yeah, the example is actually based on what already published, yeah, in the high quality research journal, for example, like Scopus, Q1, Q2, Q4 is okay. It's well planned, well organized. They do their research report on such procedures, which will be explained. What's it, by the book. I'll sell the book. I will share the book for you if you want to read a lot, because if I'm trying to explain here, I thought it could not be so effective, so just read the book. Okay, I'll give it here to do. It's actually the essence of what we have already explained from Dr. Melinda and also me in the very beginning of this presentations. And also, if it is based on the thesis, the well of the exact which is well planned and well organized, is based on the guideline of the university itself. So it is okay to accept. Okay, so based on the points that we have already explained, it means that that research report is actually well planned and well organized, because it's been disseminated by the disseminators. Okay, I think that's the answer. If it is will be much clearer, it will be explained by Miss Melinda.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Satria. Okay, go on. From Miss Melinda, do you want to answer Mr. Sayed's questions about these issues?
Okay.
How to apply this concept when the student will start in writing?
Karena bertanya dengan bahasa Indonesia, saya juga coba menjawab dengan bahasa Indonesia. Tidak ada model yang pasti, yang jelas. Tidak ada model baku untuk ini. Saya sudah coba cari yang mana. Seperti yang dikatakan Pak Satria tadi, model terbaik adalah yang sesuai dengan di mana kita akan menggunakannya. Contoh yang saya berikan ini adalah contoh untuk skripsi, bukan artikel. Sebab artikel akan berbeda lagi nanti. Ya, dan ini yang umum untuk jurusan kita. Nah, bagaimana cara menyatakan ini baik atau tidak? Yang jelas, poin-poin utamanya ada. Yang pertama tadi, background. Background itu yang jelas harus ada apa itu. Nah, that is ideality tadi, yang ideal one. Apa itu tentang topik. Nah, yang kedua, tentang setelah dibahas tentang topik itu, bagaimana kenyataannya dengan topik itu. Jadi contohnya begini deh, kalau secara gamblangnya kita coba ya, kita coba membuat contoh model dari introduction-nya. Tadi cerita kita tentang bagaimana kemampuan kemampuan siswa dalam menulis paragraf. Pertama mulai dari writing paragraf itu sendiri, writing. Jadi Anda harus banyak pengetahuan tentang writing itu sendiri, jangan ke atasnya for language skill lagi, tidak itu lagi cerita kita, sebab kita sudah menjurus ke writingnya benar. Nah, kalau lebih banyak bacaannya, kita justru bisa langsung kepada writing paragraf itu sendiri. Kalau memang punya banyak pengetahuan tentang writing paragraf, langsung aja ke writing paragraf itu sendiri. Jelaskan teori yang simple saja tentang apa itu writing. Sebab teori di sini bukan seperti membuat teori di bab 2. Menurut si ini begini, menurut si ini begini. Enggak. teori di sini fungsinya hanya untuk membantu pembaca yang di luar bidang. Jadi mereka akan paham apa itu writing. Yang dimaksud writing di sini apakah menulis, membuat ABCD, apakah menaruh pulpen di atas kertas, bukan itu kan. Nah, cari writing yang memang sesuai dengan bidangnya, tapi yang simple. Sehingga kita bisa mulai. Kita juga bisa mulai dengan hot issue. Sebelum mulai ke topik writing itu. Sekarang lagi zamannya anak-anak menulis Wattpad misalnya. Nah, itu kan menulis itu. Nah, namun kadang-kadang anak-anak menulisnya begini-begini. Nah, untuk menulis yang sifatnya ilmiah, menulis Wattpad tidak sama dengan menulis di tulisan ilmiah, misalnya begitu. Nah, mulailah dari, jadi menulis ilmiah adalah begini. Nah, salah satu bentuk menulis ilmiah itu adalah menulis paragraf. Bagiannya dari menulis ilmiah itu adalah menulis paragraf misalnya, seperti itu. Nah, apa itu menulis paragraf? Kemudian apa saja bentuk-bentuk menulis itu? Menulis paragraf itu, apa yang tercakup di dalam menulis itu? Kosakatanya bagaimana, kemampuan grammarnya bagaimana, ini. Itu yang disebut dengan ideal one. Ini kita dapatkan dari teori, tidak dari mengarang indah, mengarang bebas semaunya. Dari teori yang kita baca. Nah, dari hasil teori tadi, bagaimana penerapannya di lapangan, itulah reality. Nah, di dalam reality kenyataannya bagaimana kemampuan anak-anak dalam menulis, bagaimana keadaan pengajaran menulis ini. Nah, itu yang fenomenon dan atau permasalahan. Ceritakanlah di situ. Nah, kemudian berdasarkan tadi bagaimana idealnya teorinya writing, bagaimana idealnya sebuah writing paragraf, bagaimana idealnya pengajaran writing paragraf, maka kita ketemukan permasalahan di lapangan seperti apa, secara teori seperti apa, maka kita masukkan research posisi dari keadaan tersebut. Apa yang kita inginkan, itulah yang menyebabkan kita tertarik kepada topik ini. Nah, baru muncul pernyataan. Setidaknya untuk background, ini ada 3 poin ini ada. Yang jelas ketika yang paling dilihat adalah bagian C, posisi. Yang perlu dilihat, yang sangat penting itu apa? Bahwa Anda punya penelitian pendahuluan, itu membuktikan bahwa penelitian ini sudah banyak diteliti sebelumnya. Apa saja yang sudah diteliti orang, itu yang paling penting. Setelah itu, apa perbedaan penelitian yang sudah ada dengan penelitian Anda? Sebab kalau mengulang lagi, itu tidak ada namanya kebaruan atau novelty tadi. Jadi setelah ada persamaan, ceritakan perbedaan. Berdasarkan perbedaan inilah maka saya meneliti dengan judul ini. Itu yang sangat penting. Jadi kalau membuat background yang bagus, kalau menurut saya itu yang ada. Tapi bagaimana untuk sampai ke situ, itu harus mulai dari teori-teori tadi. Saya rasa hanya begitu saja, tidak ada konsep penilaian yang bagaimana begitu, enggak. Kemudian jangan lupa, kadang-kadang mahasiswa ini lupa, sudah mulai ke skripsi lupa mata kuliah writing-nya. Bahwa dalam membuat paragraf itu ada topic sentence, ada detail, ada conclusion. Nggak mulai lagi tiba-tiba langsung ahlinya. According to apa yang di according to, kan lupa cara membuat academic writing-nya. Nah, itu barangkali untuk S1 itu saja konsepnya, tidak tinggi-tinggi ya Pak Syed. Baik, itu saja, terima kasih. I give it back to the moderator.
Ya, tadi sudah saya berikan satu buah PDF ya. Itu terima kasih buat Dr. Christian ya, yang sudah share PDF-nya untuk writing your research. Itu bisa well organized and well proposed. Bisa dibaca di chat ya. Silakan download. Oke. kembali lagi ke Miss Seta ya.
Okay, thank you, Bunda Melinda, and Mr. Satria. It's clear explanation from Bu Linda in practical in how to write report, research report. Tadi secara prosedurnya sudah dijelaskan step-stepnya dari bagaimana menuliskan idealnya seperti apa dalam latar belakang masalah, apa aja yang perlu dimasukkan dalam bagian tersebut, terus bagaimana mengaplikasikannya, masuk ke realita, dan yang paling penting adalah relevan studies-nya ya. Harus tahu posisi penelitian kita yang akan kita terus dengan yang sudah ada. Itu kuncinya. Dan untuk lebih jelasnya tadi Mr. Satria sudah memberikan langsung referensinya. Bisa buat teman-teman yang ingin mengulas lebih lanjut, terutama Mr. Said, bisa dibaca nanti bukunya langsung di-download dan dipelajari. Bisa lebih.
Saya sudah belajar.
Oke, ya. Untuk teman-teman nih, yang lainnya, partisipan dari Mr. Agus, atau teman-teman dari yang lainnya, yang lagi menulis skripsi. Nih, ada pertanyaan dari Mr. Agus, buat Bu Mel dan Mr. Satria, gini. Saya harus menulis bab 1 dulu atau mengumpulkan data awal dulu? Preliminary. Karena saat mengajukan judul, kita harus sudah mengajukan bab 1, sedangkan masalah di bab 1 kita dapat dari lapangan, walaupun tidak semua riset seperti itu. Bagaimana tanggapannya? Ini kendalanya gitu, galau nih dalam mengumpulkan data dulu.
Udah dijelaskan sama Bu Dokter ya? Coba Bu,
Sudah.
yang masalah Dasein dan Dasolen ya, Dasein dan Dasolen ya. Kalau Dasolen itu teoritis, kalau Dasein itu fakta ya?
Dasein yang teoritis.
Oh, Dasein yang teoritis. Kebalik ya?
Balik.
Oke, silakan Bu.
Ya, kalau menurut saya, kita sudah jelaskan, ini research report. Berbeda dengan proses melaksanakan penelitian itu sendiri. Termasuk membuat proposal. Proposal itu dibuat kalau sudah dikumpulkan semuanya, terutama teori. Kalau memang ada preliminary research, lakukan preliminary research dulu, baru membuat bab 1. Ini menulis. Memang bab 1 paling awal, tapi biasanya bab 1 itu selesai di akhir. Sebab itu akan balik lagi akan refers to the next chapter. Seperti research question kita. Research question itu akan bergantung kepada bab 3. Bagaimana bentuk research question kita harus tahu juga dengan jenis penelitian kita harus disesuaikan. Kalau ada preliminary research, lakukan preliminary research dulu baru menulis. Tidak sebaliknya ngarang dulu baru ke lapangan, terbalik. Menulis ini proses akhir. Terutama untuk penelitian yang kualitatif. Tapi untuk penelitian kualitatif biasanya simultan, serentak semuanya itu. Ambil data iya, nulis ulang iya. Nanti mana yang kurang lagi disesuaikan begitu secara keseluruhan. Jadi tidak, walaupun kita membuat poin proposal, kita harus berdasarkan teori. Kan sudah dilihat tadi poin-poinnya. Bahwa poin pertama itu berdasarkan teori, berarti baca dulu. Baru kita bisa ngerancang bagaimana permasalahan yang ada. Apa definisinya? Nanti dari bab 2 meskipun bab 2-nya belum runtut jadi beneran, bukan. Tapi konsep-konsep teorinya sudah ada dulu. Baru kita membuat bab 1. Itu saja. Terima kasih.
Oke, Mr. Agus. Oke. Mr. Agus sudah tadi yang mewakili mungkin dari pertanyaan dari mahasiswa yang tidak mengungkapkan pendapat. Jadi yang paling utama tuh basicnya ada di teorinya dulu. Kalau ada teorinya baru bisa diperkuat.
Kalau saya membimbing teori dulu.
Teori yang diperkuat.
Teori tentang topik yang akan diteliti. Sebab kalau tidak mantap teori, bagaimana? Saya selalu mencontohkan di kelas itu tentang donat misalnya. Paling yang dengar ketawa ini. Itu aja terus ceritanya. Konsep donat itu dulu apa? Nah, kemudian mau meneliti tentang donat, mau meneliti apanya? Bentuknya kah? Jenisnya kah? Rasanya kah? Modelnya kah? Itu harus dikumpulkan dulu teori semuanya tentang itu. Nah, itulah nanti yang akan ada di background kita. Bahwa cari teori paling simpel tentang donat. Apa itu donat? Cari. Donat adalah kue yang berbentuk seperti ini, seperti ini. Tidak harus kutipan langsung. Mungkin teori yang kita dapat dari beberapa sumber, sebab biasanya jarang teori yang langsung menyatakan seperti itu. Kumpulkan dulu teori tentang apa itu donat, sehingga kita bisa menjelaskan kepada pembaca bahwa donat yang kita maksud adalah ini, secara simpel. Kemudian donat itu dari bentuknya begini, dari rasanya begini, ini begini. Kalau tidak ada itu, bagaimana Anda menjelaskan donat itu seperti apa? Baru nanti difokuskan apanya donat yang mau Anda teliti. Apakah jenisnya? Berarti Anda harus banyak punya teori tentang jenis-jenis donat nanti. Jadi, atau cara membuatnya. Cari dengan teori. Jadi, bab 1, bab 2 itu tidak bisa sementara bab 3 mungkin kita belum menulis, tapi konsepnya sudah ada. Jenis penelitiannya apa? Jenis penelitian bisa bertemu setelah ketemu fokus. Jadi bolak-balik aslinya. Oh, kita hanya akan menjelaskan proses pembuatan donat saja. Berarti kalau hanya menjelaskan berarti penelitian kita apa? Describe. Nah, deskriptif saja berarti. Tapi mau saya punya pengetahuan baru tentang jenis tepung ini, ingin mencoba apakah donat berhasil dengan menggunakan tepung ini. Berarti penelitian kita uji coba. Nah, bab 3 eksperimental gitu. Jadi enggak bisa kita langsung buat bab 1 aja dulu, terus bab 2 saja, bab 3 tak bisa. Sebab itu sebabnya biasanya mahasiswa yang mau bimbingan dengan saya, datang ke saya dengan konsep dulu, bukan dengan proposal. Apa yang mau kamu lakukan? Oh, saya tentang writing. Apanya dari writing? Paragraf. Mau diapakan writing paragraf ini? Itu dulu, baru kita bisa membuat background. Seperti itu. Barangkali itu yang saya... Ini saya baca, ini ada pertanyaan juga tentang...
Ya, relevant studies.
Relevant studies. Iya, yang dimaksud itu relevant studies. Hanya di style, ada beberapa style relevant study, hanya ada di bab 1 seperti ini. Kalau yang biasa saya bimbing ada 2. Relevant studies itu ada di akhir poin background. Yang kedua, ada di poin kedua di bab 2. Poin bab 2 itu kan ada teori. Kemudian yang kedua bagi saya adalah relevant study. Fungsinya mereka ini berbeda. Relevant study di bab 1 adalah untuk menemukan fokus-fokus penelitian sehingga kita bisa menemukan perbedaan penelitian dan persamaan penelitian yang sudah ada dengan yang kita punya. Jadi bukan hasilnya yang difokuskan. Sementara relevant studies di bab 2 fungsinya adalah untuk khazanah pengetahuan sehingga orang paham, oh sudah ada penelitian tentang ini hasilnya. Oh begini, di bab 2 relevant study itu lebih kompleks. Judul iya, tahun iya, tentang apa hasilnya mereka, apa uniknya dari penelitian di bab 2 itu. Relevant studies di bab 2 itu. Kalau tidak ada relevant studies, waduh. Saya rasa mungkin untuk researcher mungkin sanggup menemukan sesuatu yang baru. Akan tetapi mungkin tidak menemukan relevan study yang sangat fokus dengan penelitian kita. Tapi setidaknya pasti ada yang mirip dengan kita, poinnya.
Namanya juga relevant studies.
Relevan,
jadi
bukan sama.
Nggak perlu sama gitu. Tapi yang
sama.
penting relevan gitu kan.
Misalnya tentang writing.
Karena ilmu sosial kayaknya dari Bu Dokter ya.
Ya, gimana?
Ilmu sosial. Karena ilmu sosial itu nggak ada yang baru kayaknya. Kebaruannya lama gitu. Iya, kecuali ilmu IPA sains
mungkin ya, sains mungkin. Tapi poin-poin yang diteliti itu juga pasti ada. Misalnya mau menciptakan obat untuk COVID. COVID-nya kan belum ada teorinya, tapi kan tentang virus kan ada.
Ya.
Gitu. Tentang pengendalian obat kan ada. Harus, jadi yang mirip tidak harus pasti sama.
Relevan.
Relevan. Salah satu variabelnya sama bisa atau mirip. Untuk relevance tadi di bab 2, bahkan ketika saya belajar dulu diceritakan kalau metodologi penelitian Anda unik, yang sama metodologinya saja pun sudah boleh. Artinya relevance tadi di bab 2 itu fungsinya untuk memberi pencerahan kepada pembaca bahwa teori tentang ini sudah ada menelitinya, ini begini bentuknya. Oh, jadi orang tuh meneliti begini. Bisa nggak musik diteliti untuk mengajar? Kan begitu. Apa iya? Nanti akan ditemukan bahwa oh ada atau orang yang meneliti tentang musik, begini hasilnya, begini caranya. Nah, itu relevance tadi di bab 2-nya. Oke, begitu. Barangkali itu saja Bu Septa.
Mr. Satria, jika ada yang ingin menanggapi pertanyaan dari penanya, dari Susanti, ada yang mau
Dari Susanti. Oh ya.
Dari Susanti, ada.
Pertanyaannya itu yang di chat ya?
Ya, maaf jika out of topic ini izin bertanya tentang saya ketutupan lagi. Oke ya.
Kegelisahan saya.
Dari Mary. Gini, bagaimana melakukan penelitian di saat pandemi seperti ini? Jika ingin menunggu sekolah buka, sepertinya terlalu lama mengingat COVID selalu meningkat. Dan jika melakukan penelitian online melalui aplikasi belajar online seperti Google Classroom atau aplikasi belajar yang lainnya, apakah penelitian tersebut dapat dikatakan valid atau tidak ya, Miss? Terima kasih. Ya.
Oke. Ya, Mary. Yeah. That's actually the reason why we conduct this topic for today, Cerdos. Yeah. So it's because of the pandemic, ya. Karena memang kasus COVID juga meningkat, kemudian kita udah PSBB, ya kan, sehingga nggak bisa offline, nggak bisa ada kelas, ya kan. Kita pasti punya cara, ya, pasti punya cara untuk melakukan penelitian, ya. Yang pertama mencari zona hijau, ya. Jadi cari daerah yang hijau di mana itu bisa offline. Kalau mau melakukan penelitian eksperimental, misalnya COSAI. Nah, itu juga tergantung dengan sekolah. Kalau memberikan satu kelas kan nggak bisa tuh. Jadi pakai pre-eksperimental gitu. Kemudian banyak sekali penelitian yang bisa dilakukan ya dengan mengumpulkan data misalnya atau mencari seperti yang saya jelaskan sebelumnya tadi ya berdasarkan fenomena ya. Misalnya bagaimana pembelajaran bahasa Inggris di zaman pandemi ini gitu. Jadi ada sebuah analisa gitu kan. Jadi analisa apa yang sudah dilakukan dan juga ada washback-nya gitu. Apa benefitnya dari melakukan itu hal-hal tersebut gitu. Jadi kita bisa comparing, kita bisa analyzing, kita bisa arguing juga dengan temuan kita nanti seperti itu. Jadi kita lihat dengan fenomena yang ada, ya fenomena kita kan seperti ini, berarti kan pasti ada solusi. Nah itulah penelitian itu ada. Jadi kita buat gebrakan-gebrakan seperti misalnya ada online learning, ya kan? Mana yang cocok untuk mengajar speaking dari online, atau misalnya menganalisa buku seperti itu. Jadi masih banyak pilihan-pilihan penelitian yang bisa dilakukan, terutama kualitatif ya. Seperti itu. Mungkin dari Bu Dr. Melinda bisa memberikan insight lagi.
Kalau saya satu aja yang akan saya katakan, banyak-banyak baca. Gak ada yang lain, banyak-banyak baca. Anda stuck itu karena yang dilihat itu saja. Bukan buku-buku, bukan artikel yang dibaca, tapi skripsi kakak tingkat. Sehingga idenya muter di situ aja. Tidak sanggup mengembangkan ke yang lain. Kan ada jenis-jenis penelitian segerobak begitu modelnya. Pahami itu, nggak ada yang lain. Kemudian fokusnya, cari bidang yang Anda suka. Jangan terfokus kepada Anda kan sudah terbentuk seperti kalau kata saya itu sudah tercetak orang begitu, saya begitu, nggak mau mengembangkan sama sekali. Banyak poin. Misalnya dilihat dari jenis penelitian saja, bisa kita melihat, oh meneliti begini, apa yang bisa saya teliti ya? Nah, kemudian ingat semua mata kuliah yang sudah Anda pelajari itu. Apa yang betul-betul tertarik bagi Anda? Cari, baca, dan baca pasti bertemu. Kemudian baca banyak-banyak jurnal penelitian. Jengkel pasti kalau saya jawab begitu. Sebab hanya itu solusinya, nggak ada yang lain. Di kelas pun saya bilang baca, dan baca. Saya apapun mata kuliah yang saya ajar, pasti saya wajibkan membaca buku dan raporkan. Buku berbahasa Inggris, laporkan berbahasa Indonesia. Tujuan saya adalah yang seperti ini. Jadi melaporkannya tidak dengan bahasa Inggris, sebab kalau dengan bahasa Inggris Anda pasti nyalin aja itu. Kira-kira yang penting salin, sehingga nggak paham apa itu buku isinya. Nah itu tujuan saya, supaya ada variasi pengetahuan Anda. Banyak scope of the research in education, in English department ini banyak scope-nya. Anda kan ada mata kuliah sastra, ada mata kuliah linguistik, ada mata kuliah tentang kependidikan bahasa. Tentang misalnya, mungkin Anda tidak laju ke eksperimen saja. Kalau eksperimen pun bisa Anda fokuskan kepada yang memang bisa diambil datanya melalui online seperti saat begini. Jadi jangan maksa-maksakan orang seperti itu aja. Baca, nggak ada yang lain, rumusnya hanya itu. Saya dulu pernah diberikan oleh waktu saya S1, di akhir mata kuliah, dosen saya yang waktu itu rektor menyampaikan hanya satu, celakalah Anda yang tidak banyak membaca. Itu, kami ditodong dengan begitu saja sudah. Sebab tidak ada yang bisa dilakukan kalau tidak membaca. Permasalahan menulis skripsi ini adalah permasalahan membaca. Kalau menerapkannya tidak masalah. Tapi bagaimana menerapkan itu juga berdasarkan bacaan Anda. Kali itu jawaban saya, Bu Septa. Tidak ada jawaban lain menurut saya. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Mr. Satria, Bu Melinda yang sudah menanggapi pertanyaan dari Mary. Ya, Mary, jadi sudah terjawab ya Mary ya. Mary bisa melakukan penelitian tadi ya, kalau misalnya pandemi seperti ini bisa disesuaikan dengan kondisinya. Kalau masih bisa diterapkan secara online, itu masih bisa. Eksperimental seperti tadi yang setelah dijelaskan Mr. Satria, bisa dicari yang zonanya zona hijau. Atau alternatifnya disesuaikan dengan kondisi sekarang. Penelitiannya itu bisa penelitian kualitatif. Kuncinya itu banyak membaca. Dulu membaca. Harus banyak membaca, terutama banyak membaca jurnal-jurnal yang bagus. Sekarang yang bagus, yang sudah terindeks, dan mulailah meneliti dari yang kamu sukain. Itulah yang model utamanya. Kalau kita melakukan sesuatu yang kita nggak suka itu akan berat. Tapi kalau memulai dengan yang kita sukain, kita cinta dengan yang mau kita teliti, itu akan ringan dan mudah. Ada pertanyaan lagi ini, pertanyaan tapi sudah ditanggapi nih. Sebenarnya pertanyaannya itu gimana sih biar bisa nulis itu bisa enak gitu loh. Nulisnya tuh ngalir, enak gitu. Nggak kaku gitu. Ada trik dan tipsnya nggak sih, Mr. Satria? Mr. Satria?
Halo. Lagi ngetik di itu, di chat. Gimana, Mas Septa? Tips dan trik apa?
Ya, kalau sudah dijawab sendiri sih dengan Mr. Ridho.
Oh, gitu.
Sudah ditanggapin. Ya, kuncinya memang banyak menulis ya teman-teman semua yang belum banyak membaca sebelum menulis itu. Karena kuncinya adalah membaca sebelum menulis.
Ya selain itu runtut penulisan, jangan lupa menulis itu proses, bukan langsung produk langsung jadi, bukan kayak cerpen. Buat draftnya dulu. Seperti tadi, background ada 3 poin, ideal, reality. Idealnya itu sendiri tuh buat pula poin-poin dulu, sehingga smooth nanti. Bolak-balik dibilang general to specific, sehingga orang bisa paham. Nggak ada bisa menulis langsung terus jadi satu paragraf tuh nggak bisa. Buat draftnya dulu, jotting down, kemudian brainstorming, kemudian drafting, kan begitu. Baru disusun lagi. Kemudian berikan kata sambungnya, apanya, ide itu disusun supaya semuanya nggak langsung menulis di status Facebook begitu, nggak bisa.
Ada prosesnya.
Ada proses. Itu yang sering dilupakan mahasiswa. Ketika udah skripsi lupa semua pelajaran writing yang seberapa tingkat itu, ada yang akademik, ada yang essay, ada yang basic segala macam. Gitu. Kemudian jangan lupa grammar. Itu yang penting.
Yang paling penting itu Bu Dokter, plagiarisme. Nah, itu banyak yang copy paste tuh. Jadi dari tulisan orang di paste. Banyak sekali terjadi ya kemarin, sampai berapa persen itu dicek plagiatnya.
Oh, sementara ini sudah ada trik mereka untuk plagiarisme dan saya baru tahu itu. Setelah dia bagaimana cepat supaya 25% itu ternyata ada kalimat yang dibalik sehingga grammarnya acak-acakan, ada yang typoin. Wah, hebat mahasiswa.
Dibuat typo ya.
Jadi untuk dosen saya peringatkan, kalau mereka sudah mencapai 25%, di situ baru kita konsentrasi ngoreksi.
Ya, sebelum diolah itunya, kata per katanya diperiksa dulu sama pembimbing. Sehingga kelihatan kan yang typo, yang dibalik-balik, yang sengaja supaya mengurangi persentase plagiarismenya, itu bisa dicek dulu. Kemudian nanti setelah dicek kosakatanya kan itu ada yang banyak berulang, itu bisa di-exclude. Soalnya plagiarism checker pasti ngebaca yang sama kan, kayak according to, karena itu dihitung itu plagiat juga kan sama gitu. Jadi dibagi per bab untuk plagiarismenya gitu. Jadi memang ini sulit sekali writing ya, Bu Dokter ya.
Writing itu skill tertinggi sebenarnya.
Itu Miss Aul udah pernah dapat 80% tuh bimbingannya. Ya, itu juga ada yang dibolak-balik, diupload lagi di Turnitin ya, di print buat skripsi yang berbeda ya. Itu akal-akalan ya. Silakan ini kalau ada lagi, mungkin ada mahasiswa yang masih bingung gitu, bab chapter berapa gitu.
Belum,
tanya,
baru satu aja.
Apa udah jelas banget ya penjelasannya?
Tinggal aplikasinya mungkin yang.
Yang jelas ini model loh ya, masing-masing pembimbing, masing-masing tempat akan berbeda. Ini tidak kaku, namun poin-poin utamanya seperti itu. Gitu. Kadang ada dosen yang seperti, kalau untuk risetnya jenis-jenis sastra itu awal-awal itu pasti kalimatnya tidak langsung ke teori
inti.
Menjelaskan apa itu kan, mungkin dia menjelaskan apa mungkin hot isunya dulu atau apa begitu, boleh juga. Yang jelas poin-poinnya harus ada, begitu saja. Rido, ada yang 0%, wah.
Jangan, Mr. Rido, salah masukin aplikasi dia, bukan aplikasi plagiarisme, aplikasi yang lain.
Barangkali ya. Oke, barangkali bisa.
Oke, ada lagi? Sebelum masih ada 3 menit lagi.
Tiga.
Sudah. Aku kasus pernah data orang yang dipakai.
Data orang
aku udah dari Miss Aulia pernah dapat kasus pernah data orang yang dipakai.
Kalau itu mah kenyang kita ya, kenyang. Kalau nggak teliti, ampun-ampunan.
Ada
Apalagi
macam-macam ya yang
eksperimen.
Iya, Mr. Rido. Kapan ngopi?
Jelas untuk membuat kalimat sendiri, saya sendiri juga bermasalah. Masih. Kalimat saya sendiri pun masih kaku. Tapi yang paling banyak membantu itu ketika kita ngetik di blok kata itu, klik kanan cari sinonim. Nah, itu dicari sehingga kata itu tidak berulang. Ya, untuk menulis saya sendiri pun masih belum tingkatan yang bagus sebenarnya. Masih seperti baku begitu. Belum ya. Tapi ya kita berusaha. Ini practice make perfect. Kalau nggak pernah nulis terus langsung jadi background yang bagus. Nah, di situ saya curiga. Pasti itu punya orang. Masih kalimatnya masih nyaman dengan I am, is, eating. Masih enak-enak baca, tapi tiba-tiba sudah bisa membuat kalimat simple present perfect yang bagus sekali. Itu kan nggak masuk akal. Nah, jadi jangan heran kalau saya langsung tuduh aja itu ya. Pengalaman jadi. Mungkin Anda juga lupa mengaktifkan seperti yang di Word itu kan ada grammar checker, spelling checker kadang-kadang. Malas aja yang banyak sebenarnya. Barangkali mungkin tidak ada lagi. Atau panitia mengumumkan sesuatu.
Miss Isti, jika ingin memberikan informasi untuk Sardos selanjutnya, silahkan. Mumpung masih banyak partisipasi yang belum live grup, live Zoom-nya, silahkan. Miss Isti. Ya, bentar. Sebentar ya, saya lagi copy paste link-nya dulu. Oke, teman-teman dan adik-adik mahasiswa yang membutuhkan sertifikat itu bisa dilihat di chat box, itu sudah saya copy paste-kan. Di situ silakan digunakan. Mudah-mudahan itu yang dari Miss Aulia. Kemudian informasi, karena pekan kemarin kami ada sedikit kesibukan sehingga tidak bisa sehingga mundur jadwal Shardos. Seharusnya kan Shardos yang ke-6 ini dilaksanakan pekan kemarin, tapi karena ada beberapa agenda yang tidak bisa kami skip, jadinya dijadikan hari Senin, sehingga adik-adik yang tadi punya kegelisahan yang sama dengan teman-temannya, misalnya mau mengambil data di sekolah tapi terkendala lockdown dan sebagainya, itu dipersilakan untuk hadir lagi di hari Kamis besok, Shardos yang ke-7. Itu temanya adalah literatur yang sastra, kajian sastra, dan juga error analisis. Itu kan tidak perlu datang ke sekolah. Kalaupun memang harus datang ke sekolah, juga tidak harus bertemu dengan siswanya yang banyak dan tidak perlu melakukan treatment di kelas. Sehingga itu mungkin menjadi salah satu jawaban selain kemarin yang kami sudah offer ya, kami sudah berikan kepada adik-adik mahasiswa, ada textbook analisis, kemudian listening yang narrative inquiries juga bisa, dan masih banyak lagi sebenarnya yang bisa kita berikan ke adik-adik gitu. Hanya saja memang betul kata Bu Melinda dan Mr. Satria tadi, harus banyak baca, banyak gaul, dan banyak ngopi ya, kata Mr. Rido. Seperti itu, sehingga sebenarnya semua masalah itu pasti ada solusinya gitu kan, semua kendala juga pasti ada jalan keluarnya. Nah, lihat tuh, narasumbernya juga sudah mempersilahkan di chat box ya, untuk sastra monggo mampir, semoga tidak sesat sebelum ikut Zoom sastra yang di hari Kamis. Jangan lupa di jam yang sama pukul 10 sampai 12 dengan narasumber Mr. M. Rido Khalid, SS MPD, Miss Yulan Puspitarini, SS MA, dan kemudian error analisisnya nanti dengan Mr. Irawansyah MPD. Jadi segala yang ada di bayangan kalian, misalnya penelitian macam apa, terutama yang semester 5 tuh yang nanti akan ketemu dengan mata kuliah research methodology ya, research methodology, itu juga sudah bisa mengikuti gitu loh, tidak perlu yang kakak-kakak tingkatnya yang angkatan-angkatan legend, tua, oldies, dan dying, gitu kan, seperti itu. Jadi
mahasiswa abadi.
Betul. Jadi selain banyak membaca, banyak ngopi, dan juga banyak ikutan Shardos yang seperti ini. Nah, sudah di-share sama Miss Aulia, dilihat ya, agak kecil memang tulisannya, tapi semoga bisa membantu buruan yang tidak mungkin sudah terlanjur punya judul yang tidak ada kesastraan ataupun ada error-errornya, bisa saja ikut gitu. Siapa tahu kan malah jadi ingin banting setir gitu. Tidak masalah. Yang
Mantap
namanya
ini
pengajuan
kajiannya.
itu tidak harus benar-benar yang itu gitu. Jadi kami memberikan banyak alternatif sehingga tidak ada alasan. Ada tadi saya bilang Mr.
Irawan kurang syah tuh.
Irawan
Irawan kurang syah. Irawan aja tuh.
Seperti itu loh. Mr. Agus ini. Ya, nanti akan dimoderatori oleh Mr. Agus Hidayat MPD juga. Ya, beliau yang akan membuat suasana menjadi lebih hangat, ceria dan menyenangkan. Ya, dan itu karena hari Kamis kami tidak menyediakan nasi padang ya. Caum juga, lagi-lagi caum. Sengaja diadakan Senin dan Kamis. Nah, kemudian tadi kan kata Miss Melinda yang masalah ini ya Bu, writing itu adalah yang level tertinggi. Jangan lupa juga dan jangan don't miss it. Hari Senin, insya Allah, Senin depan itu Syardos sesi 8 tentang writing dan media. Itu harus sangat-sangat sekali tidak boleh dilewatkan. Yang bisa saya nanti tolong di encourage buat teman-teman dosen juga, semua mahasiswa bimbingan, semua mahasiswa yang menginjak di semester 5, semester 7, dan semester 9. Silahkan. Apa sih sulitnya mendengarkan, kemudian kita bisa berbagi opini dan berbagi keresahan. Seperti itu. Terima kasih, Mas Septa.
Terima kasih, Miss Isti. Yeah, like this is the last session from this Zoom webinar. We can close this meeting by saying Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. We hope this session can give many beneficial to the student in comprehending their method in writing research report. And untuk ini bukan sharing dosen terakhir ya, karena masih ada 2 lagi. Tolong yang hadir hari ini wajib mengikuti sharing dosen di sesi 7 dan 8. Kami tunggu partisipasinya. Oke, we close. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Foto-foto tuh kata Mr. Said tuh.
Foto-foto dulu.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, foto-foto.
Tunggu dulu, digedein dong
Ya,
ininya.
latest session.
Ini hilang.
Woi, misteri sangar bener.
Mr. Ridho udah nggak sabar buat konser besok Kamis.
Pemburuhan ya.
Buruan.
Silakan
Besok.
dibuka videonya teman-teman.
Dok, nitip besok puisinya Robert Frost.
Teman-teman silakan dibuka videonya. Saya penasaran dengan tampilan Mr. Said ini.
Kak, pakai. Nah, oh kirain Fitra.
Fitra ini. Mr. Saidina mana? Mr.
Biasanya
Saidina.
pakai turban biasanya.
Iya,
Saya pakai
makanya.
turban.
Tiap minggu yang ditunggu-tunggu penampilan spektakulernya beliau.
Mana beliau?
Mana nih cerita?
Oh ya itu ada teman juga tuh dari Kalimantan tuh.
Siapa?
Hidayah Nur.
Oh,
Nah, itu Hidayah Nur.
Mana?
Dari
Hidayah Nur.
Antasari Banjarmasin ya.
Salam buat teman-teman di Banjarmasin.
ini kayaknya pada
Mana
nggak mau
Hidayahnya?
buka ya? Kalau nggak mau buka saya udah mau mulai nih.
Hidayah.
Seadanya aja ya.
Seadanya
Said
aja.
mana? Mr. Said.
Mana? Saya belum
Mana
lihat.
dia? Cie? Pasangan.
Mana Mas?
Ada yang nebeng.
Oke, kita mulai ya.
Oke ya, sudah.
1, senyumnya. 2, 3. Terima kasih. Terus ini ada 2 lembar kan? Sebentar, siapa tahu ada. Oke, 1, 2, 3. Oke. Oh, ternyata ada Miss Dian. Miss Dian nggak muncul. Miss Nunan juga.
Mana Miss Dian?
Ada ini ternyata. Dimatikan. Terima kasih teman-teman. Mister juga terima kasih. Mister Ridho, siap-siap Kamis. Mister Agus.
Thank you.
Mister
Agus.
Mr. Agus.
Terima kasih Bu Melinda. Terima kasih Mister Satria.
Kak, makasih Miss Isti
Dadah.
semuanya, Miss
Terima kasih,
Kak, Bu
Miss
Dokter, Bu Dokter Nur, Bu
Juga,
Rektor,
terima
Bu
kasih.
Dekan.
Bu Dekan.
Oh ya, Bu Dekan.
Bu Dekan memantau. Bu Sekjer juga memantau ini.
Bu Dekan ada yang suspek ya Bu Dekan.
Oh ya, buat Christian juga makasih banyak.
Ya.
Dan
Sukron kasiron. Mr. Christian.